Hello, everybody. Prowl here, and we're here on a Sunday doing another news roundup because, of course, there's tons of Hytale news that keeps coming out, and it's almost impossible to keep up. But this one today is really big because we have Simon, the owner of Hytale, Hypixel Studios, has done 3 interviews that have all recently been released. We have stuff talking about dungeons being instanced and a grappling hook in the game. We have stuff talking about how the game's not going to have any pay to win and no aggressive microtransactions. And I even have some information about custom skins and a unique way that your friends will be able to invite you to their world. We have a big post from Simon here I want to break down as well. A lot of different things. I have some cool screenshots to show you. There's so much to go over today. So let's go ahead and let's hop in. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with this post from Simon. Okay, so we got a big one here from Simon. Let's talk about it. Let's read what he says, and I'll kind of interject as I go, as I feel like I need to. So Simon says, tested Hytale exploration mode game loop this morning for 2 hours. No crashes, lots of fun moments, still lots of work ahead to make it good. Focusing on small wins for fast development, large scale QA starts tomorrow. This is something that I don't think I have a graphic for. I don't remember where I read it. He talks about exploration mode, and then sometimes we hear talk of adventure mode. And that was actually confusing to me. But while I was doing research for today's video, I actually found the answer to the question that I had, which is, what's the difference in exploration mode and adventure mode? Like, what does one have that the other doesn't have? Because it kind of felt a little weird. Like, why? Like, I don't want to miss out on something one mode has versus the other. And anyways, just to kind of get all the confusion away out of it, from what I've read and seen, exploration mode is just what they're calling it right now because they don't really have a lot of the like questing and things like that they plan on eventually having. Some of those assets are there, some of those structures are there, but they're not really like tied into anything or used. So it's just called exploration mode right now, and eventually it will be called adventure mode. They are one and the same thing. Okay, let's continue. Morning notes. NPCs are still acting weird sometimes, but can be fixed over time. Knockback on enemies feels wrong. Needs complete overhaul. We added back shovel tool, but made it AoE dig. Now it's actually useful and fun. Mining still feels bad. Needs to implement momentum feature and potentially have the signature ability system to tools as a whole, like weapons, so we can have fun coming up with abilities, probably post-launch. That's interesting to hear. So they added a shovel back, but made it an AoE digging. What if I just want to dig one block? I think if they're going to talk about like the signature ability system, which if you've watched the gameplay footage, that's where like you fill up the little like bar, you hit Q, and you do like a special move. I kind of like that idea where like a tool would maybe have multiple uses. So I don't necessarily mind area mining to some degree. I think that's fine, but of course we do still want individual mining control. So maybe just like left mouse click could do the individual mining, and then different types of shovels or pickaxes or whatever can have their own special abilities, and you would use that special ability with the Q button or some other keybind. I think that's kind of how I would do it. Side note, non-creative exploration mode building improvements are happening. Block placement is starting to feel good. Rotations and connected blocks works well. See, this is the one I don't know. Is rotated blocks meaning, I think this just means that like I can place a log facing upwards, or I can place a log facing on its side. I don't think it means I have like a tool to rotate a block that's already down, although I hope they do include that at some point. Today, I need to test our builder's bench with new changes. The problem is that we have way too many blocks for building, and honestly, it's a mess. Dozens of edge cases for crafting, and I want to simplify and make it fun. Not tedious so players feel like empowered when building and not restricted, but needs to keep immersion in mind. I know some people may not share the whole thought of like there being too many blocks. Like, oh, there never be too many blocks. I do think there can be. So I don't know how many blocks are in the game now. It really seems like there's a lot, like a whole lot. So I wouldn't totally disagree with them that they should probably like pull a lot of blocks out of the game. What I like out of blocks, in like Minecraft and the Plenty of Blocks add-on in Minecraft that I've used is I like there to be maybe less base blocks, and then blocks be more in families, and then have variants of the block. Like having a wood family where you have like 7, 10, 12 different types of wood. I think that's fine to have a lot of different types of wood, but variants of the wood I think is where you would start to have some fun. So like you can craft the wood into planks, and then once it's in plank form, you have like maybe 4 different ways that you can craft those planks into something that looks different. Not just like stairs and slabs like in Minecraft, but like different looks for the whole block, or like a block of stone. Like, yeah, you can craft a block of stone into stairs and slabs, but also like you have a polished stone, you have a couple of different stone brick variants. Like, I think they should go that route, because I feel like it clutters the game less and gives you, the player, a little more choice of when you clutter the game. So rather than there being 500 different blocks in a natural world that you can find, and you could just kind of craft them all into stairs and slabs, maybe it's better if there's 60 blocks that are found in a natural world, or 80 or 100 or something like that, like a much smaller number. And then you have a lot of variants that you can make of those existing blocks. Anyways, let's continue. It's critical to get it right because it's a game where building is core to the game experience, and at the moment, it's not there just yet. Months ago, it was very, very frustrating to build. Now it's actually decent, but still needs improvements. Today, we have small changes that might just make it work well. Extra note, massive progress over the past week. Being on our own PC has accelerated progress by so much. However, it has personally slowed me down because I've been dealing with interviews, clips, screenshots, Q&A, and other things. It was important to do. Communication is critical, so everyone understands the state of the game. The team has been very busy anyway, so it was probably a good thing I didn't put much on their plates. We'll do more reports as we progress if you guys like. Okay, so there you have it. That's the big announcement from Simon. There's some of my thoughts about it. But let's actually go ahead and let's jump into some of these interesting videos that have come out. Okay, so this first one I have is from a YouTube channel called Big Dude. I'll link his channel down in the description below. I'm not going to go over his whole interview. It was like a 10-minute interview where he submitted some questions in writing and got answers back in writing from Simon. There's a lot of really good information here. I haven't included everything. I picked out 2 questions here that I found rather interesting personally, but I highly recommend you go to the description down below and click on the link to the video and go watch the whole thing so you can get all of the news that came from this. And you're gonna do the same thing with some of these other videos that I show you too. All right, but let's listen to the question, and I'll kind of give my opinion as we go through.
How deep does the dungeon/loot system go? Puzzles, handcrafted layouts, bosses, keys/locking mechanics? Is there unique loot like rare named weapons and armor? And Simon replied, there are plenty of handcrafted prefabs, items, and smaller dungeons to explore. Full handcrafted dungeon runs aren't in yet.
Okay, this is going to continue, but just to kind of throw in, I love this. Because basically we're gonna have dungeon runs, and what we're talking about specifically here is instanced dungeons. Instanced dungeon means it's not just like you see a cave opening, you kind of like walk in the cave and go down. It's like a place that you load into, and it'll have likely a finite area that you go through. It'll have its own layout. You probably can't like break blocks and things like that in there, at least not all blocks. But instead it's made for you to go through, loot, fight mobs, and finish some type of objective. And I really like that as part of like the game. I think it's going to be incredibly cool and incredibly fun for those of us that like the action adventure side of a game like this. All right, let's continue. He's not done.
Now, the yet does imply that they are planning on bringing in full handcrafted dungeon runs. He continues along saying, with our tools, it's actually pretty easy to build them, and I plan to put devs on this when we finally go all in on adventure mode. So it does seem like they're going to be expanding upon the smaller dungeons that we'll probably see on early access and bringing in some more in-depth, intricate dungeons, which I am all about.
That's what it sounds like they're going to do.
To me, that is going to be one of the most fun things to do in Orbis. He continues along saying, unique loot and named items are planned, but are not ready today. Honestly, modders will probably whip these up within 24 hours. The tools make it simple.
All right, so this is really cool. And it goes into something I'm going to show you from Simon a little bit later. I think some too, which is to say that the game is going to have a lot of tiers of gear or loot. But one thing that Simon's going to focus on is to keep it very horizontal, meaning like you don't have to keep getting more and more powerful stuff just to experience things in the game. He has said that it is his goal to make it to where you can just have like regular iron gear and make it through most game content. Maybe it's a little bit harder to do so. Maybe you could do it by sneaking around. Maybe some of the content won't really be necessary or required to do. And maybe there's going to be a little bit of content to where you might want to gear up a little bit more to be able to complete it. So it'll be interesting how he kind of balances that between putting like having a storied system and having better gear, but having it be more situational use rather than I have to keep getting stronger stuff. Yeah, and then from there it goes on. It's going to get into the next question here, but also this is going to be something that modders can do, and I think this is the route that Simon and Hytale team are going to go, which is they're going to lean a little bit into the RPG side of things, enough to be fun and give you something to do, not so much to where it becomes the main focus of the game. But instead what you'll have is you'll have mods that'll come out to where if you really love that lean into the RPG side, you could just download a mod that will lean heavy into that part of the game that you like a lot. So I think that's going to be really cool. Okay, so here comes another one, some new information that Simon's going to share.
I asked him this: is there anything you're excited to share or tease that we haven't talked about yet? This is really cool. He said, yes, we're adding a grappling hook. We found a few versions of it. One is balanced, one is completely broken in the best way possible. You can grapple onto a flying bird and just go for a ride. You can pull enemies or players towards you. The balanced one will most likely make early access. The broken one is not confirmed, but if it does, it would be as a fun toy for creative players and modders because it's ridiculous and amazing.
There you go. So we will have a grappling hook in the game. The kind of silly one where you can just like attach to anything and like have birds fly you around or bats or something. That's going to be kind of funny to see. But that's not going to make it into like the core survival gameplay loop. A normal grappling hook will, though. So we'll have to see what that entails, what kind of limitations it has, how hard it is to get, does it have different levels or phases, etc. But essentially, your days of having to like pillar up super high to get like all sorts of different places and leave a whole bunch of junk blocks behind you every time you do that is not going to be a problem that we have in Hytale. Instead, you'll have a grappling hook that is balanced well for survival play that will allow you to climb up or scale up places without having to set down those temporary blocks all the time or to dig out the land just to get up somewhere every time you want to get a little bit of height in a game. So I love that. Okay, now we have another interview here that was done by 30 Virus. Again, I'll link this video down below. He has a lot of questions that he asked, again, in text form and got text-based answers back for. And I just have one out of the questions here that I really wanted to pull out for this video. So again, check the link down below to see the full video. Let's go ahead and listen. This one's interesting. It's about play to win, microtransactions, scummy practices that we see in the gaming industry, that sort of thing.
Full of free-to-play games and pay-to-win microtransactions, AAA slop that takes no risk and appeals to everybody, therefore being attractive to no one. How does Hytale plan to compete?
Hytale is a paid game with no pay-to-win. That choice lets us avoid aggressive microtransactions and focus on building a strong core game. Later on, we will add cosmetics only to support live services like minigames and social spaces. These will stay cheap and accessible. Some modders or servers may go heavier on monetization, but that is their choice. We will only feature servers that treat players fairly on our browser. The ecosystem will reward good creators. We want server owners to have freedom while offering a safer environment than Roblox.
Okay, there you go. So some key notes to pull from that. The game will have no pay to win. So you don't have to worry about, I have to spend $5 to be able to have a backpack slot or like something weird like that. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. It's not going to be in the game at all. They don't want to go after aggressive microtransactions or anything like that. It's really going to be about the player for the player, right? Later on, he noted they will add cosmetics only to support live services like mini games and social spaces, these will stay cheap and accessible. I have a little bit more about this that I posted on Twitter that I want to talk about here towards the end. But I think this is fair. I know not everybody likes transactions, cosmetics, that kind of stuff that you could buy in game. But for a game that's going to fund itself properly to be able to continue development and that sort of thing, the studios have to make money somehow. And I would much rather something like this than something like the Minecraft Marketplace, for example. In this portion, he's talking about how servers are going to work. Basically, servers are going to be able to monetize, right? And servers that have fair practices and don't try to take advantage of the player base, those will be put in their browser. So you'll actually have an in-game browser where you can look for servers that exist and join them, which will be really cool. And if somebody is found to not be kind of following those basic rules or this basic guideline of treating players fairly and not being overly aggressive with stuff, then they'll be in the browser there. Basically, they're trying to create a good ecosystem to reward good creators. Okay, and this last one, it's a huge interview. It's almost an hour long. This is from Elrich MC. I'm not familiar with him, but apparently he's a big Minecraft Bedrock Edition creator that's been, I guess, very close to what's been going on at Hytale since the beginning back in 2018. And he actually had the only voice interview with Simon that's been out there, at least so far. And Simon doesn't plan on doing many of these. We actually get to hear from Simon directly in this interview. And I have 3 different questions I pulled from this almost hour-long interview that I thought was really important for us to look at. So let's get it started with the first question.
Back in 2016, you told me there wouldn't be redstone as such, and that automation or automatic farms would work differently. Besides being a map maker, I'm a player who really uses those mechanics. Has anything changed in that aspect of Hytale?
Yeah, so we want to approach automation, but later. I don't want, like, my first goal is to do the trailer, and we did not do any redstone or automation in there, and yeah. But I think, like, everyone loves automation. All of our devs loves automation. And if you think about the mod create, for example, well, if these mod makers come to Hytale and they do it before we do, I'll be honest, I would just hire them and pay to buy their mod because it's so cool. But, you know, I don't want to make promises or with automations or system like Redstone, but we did experiment with some ideas, even including NPCs in the process. Like, you think about, like, the NPCs taking care of your farm and stuff like that. No promises, but I think this is where automation and NPC could work together. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this, but again, no promises.
So automation will have a place in Hytale. This is something that I find to be very important to me. If I were to kind of give any advice to Simon / the Hytale dev team, like you mentioned NPCs there, for example, and the first thought that came in my head was Pal World, which many of you probably haven't played it. But one of the things you could do with Pal World is you can build like a farming station for different things. An example of one is like a little station you could build that grows trees for wood, and then you could park your pals at it. I think you put like a couple at a station, maybe one at a station, I don't remember, and then they would just kind of work at it and farm the stuff for you. Very boring, very unintuitive. I don't like that. Something more, if they're not going to go the logic based route of redstone components, then I think going a route kind of like create mod would not necessarily be a bad thing either. I think the big thing that we as players want, and what makes redstone and the redstone style system in Minecraft so good, is that it requires you, the player, to customize the thing and create the thing to work the way that you want to. You're not given a block that makes an iron farm work. You have to figure out the game mechanics and make the water move the items and bring it down into a hopper, and then move the stuff over into some other hoppers that then have redstone hooked to them to sort the stuff into the chest, right? Like, that's just a small example, but Minecraft doesn't do anything for you. You kind of have to figure out how to do everything yourself. And create mod kind of works that way, right? I haven't played create mod much myself, actually very little. But the little bit I know about create mod, you have to do things like I need a power source so I can power my thing. So you have to figure out how am I going to set these things up to these machines or components up to generate power, and then hook that power into the thing that I want to power up. So it may be a conveyor belt to move items from one location to another, and then a thing that sucks the item into a thing and inserts it into a chest. And I need this thing right here that will break this tree block and then make all of the tree items fall down, wood items. And then, well, I need this thing to sort them, so I get sticks over here and logs over, like that sort of thing. So don't give me something that farms the trees for me. Give me all the components that I'm going to need to kind of figure out how I want to lay them out to farm the tree myself. I think that's going to be the big thing, because that creates dozens of hours of gameplay and fun and figuring that out, and then figuring out how you're going to like decorate it to make it look cool too. So I hope that that's the route that we go in. Okay, so this next question we're going to get into from Elrich here is a big one, I think, and one that most of you guys are going to care a lot about. This one has to do with custom skins. So pay attention, and then I'll give my input on it.
Can you tell us about the skin system? Will creators be able to have specific skins approved by you? Or does the editor allow us pixel by pixel editing? For me, it's very important to have my skeleton dark, and yeah, like I need to have my wither skeleton skin.
Yeah. You know, this is probably one of the hardest questions, and people might not like the answer, but it's like, I understand that people are coming from Minecraft and maybe Roblox and are expecting like full control of their avatar. But I feel like there's several reasons, right? It might be distracting from the art style, like having like people that are making weird skins or offensive skins. Of course, we could moderate, but to be honest, like it would be a nightmare to do so. Like I just want to keep our team small for now. Like I don't want to make promises. We will explore.
I'm going to have answers for all of this. I'm just going to let the whole thing play out first, and I'm going to give you guys my recommendation that I've sent over to Simon.
It's some kind of submission system later on, but right now, I just want to relieve that pressure from from ourselves to say like, look, we're gonna take a look later, but I understand it's important, and also it gives a little bit of time to artists to try to match the art style to make sure it works. And to be honest, like on a personal level, I think it would be great for us as well to have the community help us with that, because then it would relieve the pressure that we have on our artists. I want my artists to be making, other things than cosmetics, obviously. And avatar stuff. So yeah, again, no promises. There's much to do. Maybe in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. I don't want to make promises, but this is something in my mind. I want to please everyone, but sometimes when you try to please everyone, everyone is disappointed. So, and I think for us, it allows us to be in a position where if we control the avatar.
Okay, here's where I think this is one of the main reasons right here. Listen to what he says.
We can keep the price of the game very low because our Founder Edition helps us counter that. So the countries that don't have much money are able to buy the cheapest version of the game and experience Hytale. Meanwhile, the people that wants to support the game, they can buy the bigger version because we control the avatar completely. So there's a lot of things to think about. I am very transparent here. That's my thought process. I don't have an answer right now, but for release at least, let us be in control. And also something super critical is that I want to take 0% from server owner, map makers, everyone, so that they come to the game and just create and bring people in. And it's not it's a bad business decision if you think about it, because then people are making money, you're making zero. But first, my big win for that is I don't have to manage any of it. I don't need to hire 300 people to moderate, control payments, and all of that. But from a business perspective, yeah, we might be in a situation where, okay, we need more money. And if we control the cosmetics, the official cosmetics, of course, then we might make enough money to just keep pushing with the mini games and the team just scale faster and help those communities of modders to make tools, right? That would be the ideal scenario. And of course, servers could make their own cosmetics. They could sell their own cosmetics that, have more options. We're gonna see that it's okay as long as they don't, mess around with our cosmetics, and we're not gonna be exaggerating. Like it's gonna be fair, And yeah, that's my vision.
Okay, so let me pull up my response, my tweet I did about this. Here it is. It's a big one. Simon has not responded to it. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But here's what I said. I was listening to an interview with Simon, and he talks about player skins and how currently there isn't a plan to allow player skins. In the conversation, it sounds like skins is something they want to be able to monetize later on for themselves and for server owners to be able to monetize as well. This does make sense, but I think there's a good alternative. Let me pause here really quick and say it does make sense, right? This is how like Fortnite survives. If Fortnite allowed custom skins on like the player to be able to import, then they would never sell anything out of their marketplace. That's their whole business model. So I don't know obviously how deep Hytale is going to go with that, but I get it. You want to control that portion of things because it's an easy thing to monetize that players will accept because, hey, it's just a skin. Like, I mean, if I don't want it, I don't have to buy it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect the game any. It's just something I get to see. So here's my solution that I think allows Hytale and Simon to have their cake and eat it too. Okay, we can have some cake here as players. They can have some cake. Everybody gets cake. We all love cake. Okay. Number one, for servers, allow server operators to disable custom skins. So if one of the ways the server wants to monetize is via a skin system, they can do that. So let's say there's a really cool RPG server or Bed Wars server, etc. Right? If those server operators think, hey, like one of the things we want to do is have like themed skins in our server, and we'll have these few base skins that people can pick from, and then people can purchase extra skins if they want to like look extra cool. They could buy additional skins. I think that's good. Like if that's how they want to do it, then let them do it that way. So when they set up their server, have it be a server side option that they can disallow external skins, meaning that the only skins available are the ones that they allow to be available on their server. Problem solved, I think. Okay, number two, for Hytale, they can keep the custom skin system to just the skins, meaning that I can make myself a custom skin, and it's only the skin I can make, like that base layer of a skin. And I'm gonna compare this to Minecraft here in a second for you guys. And then they can offer things above and beyond that. So wearables like hats, clothes, and other things that are layered above and beyond the player model. Minecraft actually has this now. You can get wings, you can get these cool helmets, you can get these shoes. Like there's all sorts of like different things that you can get that's additional cosmetics that you can put over top of your skin. Now, unfortunately for Minecraft, they don't even let you put that over top of your custom skin, which I think is silly, and it's why I've never bought any of that stuff from Minecraft before. If I was able to buy some of that stuff and put it on top of my player skin, I would buy it. That would translate over to Hytale too. I would have my skin that looks like my Minecraft skin right now, but in Hytale. But like maybe I think this monocle is really cool, or these sunglasses are really cool, or there's a cool looking like mask that comes out for Halloween, or a cool shirt or whatever, right? Make it whatever you want. I would be fine with buying those things to put over top of my player skin that's my own custom skin. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I didn't mention this here, but honestly, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to make their own skin. Like Hytale doesn't seem like it's going to be the super easy thing like Minecraft is to go make your own skin, because the amount of pixels is much higher on Hytale. So honestly, you'll probably have people want to use like just whatever's available in game, especially if you have cool options. So honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to also have a player creator, like a skin creator in game, where you get to pick different body types, faces, colors, features, clothes, like etc. Right? And they could even sell some stuff in that too, like sell some extra hairstyles or whatever. Like I think that'd be fine too. But anyways, let me continue. So beyond that, they could sell emojis that players can use that appear above their heads. I could be interacting with a friend and put a smiley face or a laughing emoji or something like that above my head, or an emoji that looks like a crazy mob in the game or whatever, right? A lot of cool things could be done with emojis. Emotes, whether it be like a cool handshake, jumping around and celebrating. You could have a lot of different dances. There's thousands of different things they could do for emotes in the game as well. They could have some they give away for free or as part of progression in the game. I think that'd be a good idea. They could have some default ones that you just get because you have the game. That'd be cool. But also they could sell these too. Like they could come up with new emotes for different things all the time. They could have an emote of me like drawing an arrow and like shooting up in the sky. There's so many things that I think that they could do. They could have collaborative emotes where like you do this cool like back and forth like fencing or sword fight with like a friend, and it like, I don't know, imagine like a lightsaber scene from like Star Wars or something, like you're going ting 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 and like hitting swords together. Like they could do so many things with emotes. So that would be just another way. And then another thing would be non-functional pets. Fortnite just added this recently, is where I kind of got the idea from, but I think it's a good one, right? I think they may have like pets in game, but they may be like more functional. Like I could get a wolf that would do things for me or whatever. What I'm talking about is something that's just cosmetic and has no other functionality other than that. Maybe it'll just follow you around. Maybe you can make it stay in an area and you could build a house for it because you just think that's fun. Maybe you can feed it or something like that, or pet it. But like it wouldn't have any in-game function. It's just there to like look cool or cute or whatever. So they could do that as well. So there's a bunch of ideas of things they can do that are not the base skin, and a way that they can even do base skins. So I continue on trying to think of a way that we can have our cake and eat it too. I love the expression of custom skins, but I also understand a studio needing ways to produce profit for itself, to maintain staff and continue to update and grow the game. Simon also mentioned how skins fit into immersion in the game, which I really don't think matters when we talk about our single player worlds or worlds/servers that we set up for our friends or communities. It really only matters for public servers, in which case they can disable those custom skins, solving that problem. If I want to walk around in something that just looks really stupid in the game, that's fine. It's my single player world. I don't see a problem with me being able to do that. I did tag Simon here. Hope this is something he can consider. And then I continued on. You guys could still sell custom skins too, especially brand collabs and such. So if Hytale does get to be a big game, they may be reached out for brand collabs. So sure, someone could make that skin on their own, but these skins won't be super easy to make. Like skins generally won't be super easy to make. And you can pair your skins with emotes and wearables that can't be replicated. For example, let's say they did a Superman collab. Well, somebody could just copy the Superman skin and put it up for free to download, but would they be able to have the Superman cape with the skin? No, because you wouldn't be able to custom create that. So that would be a distinction and something that makes the collab official version better than the ripoff version that somebody tried to make and put into the game, or just like have for free. You know what I mean? And honestly, most people will just keep with the easy route of the in-game store rather than external measures. I doubt this would harm first-party skins to any large extent. Just my projection, just my thought. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. Okay, we have one last one here. Is there anything Simon can tell us that he hasn't told us before?
Not yet revealed the tales with us. You have got like hundreds of thousands of viewers right now, hoping for a new teaser. Do you have anything?
Yeah, maybe I have a little bit. To be honest, I'm not even sure if I talked about it. So the thing we're working on a feature right now, it's like it's not a big deal, but I think it's important. It seems small, but it's important. It's like I want to be able.
FYI, he has talked about this before. I think this was before I started covering news, so this may be new to you guys. But it's really cool. I'm going to explain further what he means after he finishes.
In your single player, to be able to invite your friend, which seems like a normal feature.
Okay.
But some other popular game don't have it, right?
Minecraft. You can't just invite your friend to your world in Minecraft Java Edition, but you can on Bedrock Edition. Anyways, let's continue. That's not it.
Being able to just play in single player and invite your friend, and it would join your game with no need to change your firewall settings. And for Steam games and other games, it's super normal because they handle that. But for us, like we had to do a little bit of wizardry. But that was important for me, to just be able to just invite your friend, they join. That means like right now, we're working on a friend list system so they can invite and whatnot. And I want the game to feel more social in a way. And I was even thinking,
this part's cool.
What if to invite your friend, you have to make a portal and they join your game and they go out through that portal, make it more like immersive.
That sounds so cool.
It would make the game feel more like a fake MMO in some ways. Yeah, of course, you could have, if you invite your friend and he has cheated, he could bring his cheat items, but I'm just saying, like, between friends, we don't cheat usually. So that's what I'm thinking like right now, because we have all of the technology or so. And so if we can make that happen, that would be incredible. Of course, there's still some challenges of making the friend list and all that system. But like, yeah, it's just, I was about to say a big spoiler, but I'll hold myself.
Okay, so to elaborate further on what he means there is he's not just talking about like Minecraft Bedrock Edition where I can invite a friend into the world, he spawns into the world and you know, then he like gets geared up and or I like give him some gear so he can start playing with me or whatever. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about, imagine a world where you want to invite your friend to play with you, but they already have their own single player world that they've been playing. But like you want some help with a particular adventure or you need help killing a boss. So you want to like invite them to come play in your world. You would actually be able to invite their character from their world. So maybe their character has a certain armor, certain weapons, maybe certain blocks that you don't have or yet, or something like that. You can invite that friend to your world and they come over with their stuff. That's super cool because then it wouldn't always have to be like playing with friends wouldn't always have to be this big collaborative thing where it's like, hey, I'm starting a new world. You're going to start a new world with me. We're going to go through this world and do everything in this world together. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Instead, it can be, hey, I've been playing in my world. My friend's been playing in their world, but it would be really cool to do this thing together. Okay, they've invited me to their world. I've gone to their world now, and we're going to do the thing together. And then once you're done, you could be like, okay, I'm just going to go back to my world now. And then that's it. How cool is that? That's really, really awesome. I can't wait to see that in the game. Okay, let's hop into some of the tweets and we'll be done. Okay, here, Big Dude asks, we will be able to use shaders in Hytale, ? Lots of my subs are asking. Simon says, not in the short term. We are making too many changes to the rendering and we don't want to create an ecosystem where everyone has different shaders and makes our artists' lives complicated when we evolve the game forward in the future. We will explore options later on. And then he says, note that we have lots of plans to improve the game rendering / shaders over time, and it will evolve over the years ahead. So at this time, no plan for external shaders of any sort, because then it does put a lot more work on their end for everything that they make to make sure that every block they add, every character they add, every biome they add, etc., always has to look good with all shaders. So they have to do a lot of extra work on their end, and that's not something that they're considering right now. Tiger says, I hope there's a list of items or swords one can combine to get a master sword, kind of like in Terraria. And then Panther adds to that interesting idea and tags Simon. Simon says, the crafting options got simplified. We are thinking of making the Prisma tier be like this. Combine a bunch of armors into the last tier. But this is like tier 9+, which won't be used in game for a long while. Things might change. We want to be careful with progression, be more horizontal in nature so that even tier 3 iron can somewhat be okay in later content. Have situational gear. Currently planning for about 7 tiers. Technically, thorium, cobalt, and adamantite are about the same in terms of numbers, but offer different resistance and bonuses. These would be tier 4, 5, and 6. Still working on it. None of this really existed before, but it's just a matter of configuration and implementation. Almost done. So there you go. So this is where he's trying to blend RPG element with like that more sandbox type feel of like, we want people to be able to get higher gear because higher gear, it can be fun to certain people and open up new experiences. But at the same time, it goes against the sandbox nature of the game, which is I kind of want to just be able to do everything. I don't want to have to fight crazy bosses to be able to experience stuff and to like walk into a biome to get some things. So this is where he's trying to do that. So he's trying to make it more horizontal in nature. And here he has 3 different tiers of armor / weapon / whatever that are essentially the same, but they have different resistances and bonuses. And like he said up here, he wants somebody that has iron to be able to like pretty much do anything in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how he strikes that balance. I know some of you guys that are watching are more Minecraft fans, and you might not be down with the RPG side of things. So for you guys, know that he wants to make it to where you can just have normal gear that you can craft, and that should be able to get you through most stuff okay. You could still go into all the biomes and get all of the blocks and get all the things you need to like experience the game. but there will be a little bit of vertical progression that will like show itself in the game in some way. Okay, I have another automation question here. Nikai, I'm gonna say Nikai. Hi Simon, as a Minecraft player who loves the technical side, automation, efficient farms, complex systems, I'm very curious about what Hytale will offer in that area. Since it's more RPG focused, do you plan to include technical or automation oriented mechanics? Simon says, not yet, much later after launch because we are dealing a lot of missing core features. It's on the horizon though. So again, they're thinking about automation, but don't expect it to be here probably in the first, like, I would say 6 months at least, because they really want to get the core stuff down, get the bugs out, get the game to have some type of flow to it before they start adding in some of this. But it's definitely something that I will personally push for. Obviously it's Simon's game, so we'll see what he wants to do. But hopefully they do something like I mentioned earlier in the video. True Mikey asked, how's the inventory management and exploration mode thus far? And Simon says, backpacks help counter the many challenges of having lots of blocks. So backpacks are in the game right now. We didn't see a backpack in the footage that we've seen so far, but backpacks are there. And that seems to be one of their ways of mitigating the mess of inventory management. We'll see how well it actually works once we get there. Hopefully there's a pick block button and ways to easily like swap blocks around. I would love to see like hotbar swapping to where I can like cycle through different bars by like pressing a key or something. That would be really cool too. So we'll see what else they do. And here's a big announcement that Simon made. He said, YouTubers and modders, I am pleased to announce that Hytale will have a support a creator revenue share program. If you're interested, please keep an eye on at Hytale. We will be posting information on how to apply in the coming days. Your followers will be able to use your code, so you receive a percentage of the sales of Hytale. The percentage will be low to begin with, but as we become more comfortable and recoup the acquisition costs, we will increase the percentage. If you already have a code of Hypixel, you will keep it, et cetera, et cetera. And he says if you don't have a Hypixel code, then you'll apply for one. And then he says down here, we've given out about 3 million to our creators so far through our test program on Hypixel involving dozens of creators. Okay, so there you go. So there will be a supporter creator code. So when they do start selling things through their own store, maybe it'll also involve stuff being sold through server stores, although I don't think so. I think it's probably just like their store stuff, maybe even for people buying copies of the game. I don't know. There will be a supporter creator system. I love this. Obviously I'm a creator, so I'm going to be biased about this, but this is good because it helps support creators and even smaller ones. I think mine asked Simon in another tweet, like, are small creators going to be included in this? And he said yes. So like this help people get off the ground. This, if you're looking to create content then and stream or make videos or whatever, you can put your creator code out there and your fans can use it and you can get a little bit of a kickback out of that, and that'll put some extra money in your pocket. Or it's a way for, if you're a player of the game and you're purchasing something in game, to know that, hey, my favorite creator, I can put their code in, Prowl8413, probably be mine. Just keep that in mind. I could put Prowl8413 in, and I was going to buy this thing anyway, so why not get Prowl a little bit of money out of it too? So really great way to help support creators, myself and others. And then we have this post from the Hytale account. Tell us what type of home you are planning to build. And in that picture, you see here the interior of a house. It's really cool. You can see the windows with an open window on the left-hand side. It looks like a pie or something has been baked sitting in the window there, cooling down. You got some books on the shelves. You have planters around. You have a kitchen table that looks like a fruit salad or something is inside of it. That's kind of cool. Overall, the decoration's really nice. I've never been one to like doing interiors. I think that's going to change in Hytale because setting up this kind of stuff actually looks really fun and really cool. So expect a lot of that from me too. Also, I just want to point out, I kind of like how Hytale doesn't go to the extreme with the blockiness, with the everything having to be like a cube like Minecraft does, and everything having to be so like straight liney. Like Minecraft has a couple of exceptions to this, but not many, like very few. But like here you can see the chandeliers have a more circular type look to them. Things like sitting off axis in a lot of places. Like this isn't stuff that you see inside of Minecraft. So I like this. I like the blend. Most things kind of stick to the traditional blockiness, but not all things do, and I love it. I'm down. And then there was a couple other screenshots here that I thought were really cool that were put out that haven't been seen before. Here's like a little field mouse that looks like it's hiding in some type of like brush. That's kind of cool. It looks like a wheat field or something in the background there. And then here's a really cool looking mob in front of like some type of like castle-y type structure, which is really cool. Again, I'm not like a Hytale lore person. If you're looking for like Hytale lore, go follow Quebec Corner, mine, and Canadian Flash. I think I'll try to remember to link them down in the description below. All of them are great for lore. They would probably laugh at me for not knowing, is this zone 4? I think this is zone 4, like the kind of wasteland type zone. And this like witchy mage like skeleton is like super cool. I can't wait to see more of this type of stuff and experience this in game. And some other like cool looking things too. Like, I don't know if this thing over here on the right is like a plant or some type of mob. It's kind of hard to say. We have a post where I asked a question. After watching some footage, I came up with this. I said, I wonder if when blocking in Hytale, because we've seen a lot of blocking both with weapons and with shield, if it'll be tied to your stamina bar. So you can't infinitely block. Maybe a shield takes the least of stamina since it's intended for blocking, whereas daggers would take a bigger stamina hit. And I would like this because if you could just infinitely block, kind of like in Minecraft, like you just block forever until your shield breaks, it takes a lot away from the combat because it really gets very overpowered. And if you could infinitely block with your daggers, then why would you ever need a shield? So he said correct. Simple one-word answer, but yes. So it sounds like that's how your stamina and blocking is going to work in the game. If you have a big shield, you could block a lot more with it because it's intended for blocking. If you block with a one-handed sword, maybe it takes a moderate amount of stamina. If you block with daggers that aren't really intended to be able to block, then you're going to take a pretty big stamina hit for it. You're probably only going to be able to block a few hits before you need to recover your stamina back. Anyways, that's all I have today. I feel like this was a really long one, but like the Hytale news is coming in like crazy, and I wanted to bring you guys all of this information because I'm loving it. I'm soaking it all in. I'm excited for it. Make sure that whenever creator codes come out that you put mine in. I believe it'll be Prowl8413 just to keep it same as my channel, but we'll see if there's something different. I'll let you know. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do it because it helps out a ton, especially for you guys looking for Hytale content, because I'm battling with the Minecraft content right now too. So we need the Hytale content to do better. Make sure you like this video, click the hype button, drop me down a comment, all of those things. They all help a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.